what's up everybody? Collector, whoa, the sun! Look at that sun. Hey, what's up everybody? Collector John here. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Today's a very special day because we're gonna be finally purchasing an Xbox Series X. Good Lord, look at this sun. It's ruining the video. Can you get this thing to block it a little bit, maybe? Okay. Good God Almighty. The Xbox Series X. It is the latest console from Microsoft, and I've really wanted one for a while. I already have a PC and a PlayStation 5, so my current gen gaming needs are pretty well covered. But there are some things about the Series X that are pretty appealing to me. So yeah, I was kind of waiting for the Series X to go on sale for Black Friday or Christmas this year, and that didn't end up happening. They didn't really have any good sales on them for some reason. So the last few weeks I've just kind of been trying to find a good, affordable used Xbox Series X on Facebook Marketplace. But yesterday I saw one listed for $350. It was a little farther away from me in Racine, Wisconsin. So I live in Milwaukee, which is about maybe 40 minutes north of Racine. The photos that they included weren't great. It's kind of hard to tell what the condition of this console is based on the photos. But they did show a video of it working, so I know that it works. And again, it's really hard to tell by the photos, but there is one thing I noticed about this listing that makes it maybe a bit of a better deal. Like there's kind of a value add thing here that I noticed was included. The sun! But anyway, I've completely lost my train of thought and the sun is ruining all of my shots. So here we go, that fixes it. So I'm gonna stop yapping. We're gonna drive the rest of the way down to Racine and pick up this Xbox. There's a game store down in Racine that I also wanna check out, so we're gonna do that too. And then we're gonna bring all the stuff home and take a look at it, maybe clean it up a little bit and test it out. So that should be pretty fun. Stick around and let's get into it, baby. Welcome to beautiful Racine, Wisconsin. Over there we have a Volkswagen dealership, and then behind that is a wind turbine, and then I think down this street is a prison. So that's Racine for you. I just want to find the Taco Bell. They probably have a Taco Bell here in Racine, right? All right, we successfully acquired the Xbox. It's in the back seat here. They let me come in and test it out, which was great, so I know that everything is at least working. I could tell it's going to be kind of a dirty Xbox. Like there's definitely going to be some dust and grime going on with this Xbox, but that's okay. I was kind of expecting that, and we'll be doing a thorough cleaning job on this one for sure. But in the meantime, before we take it back to the Collector John headquarters to take a look at it, we're actually going to check out a video game store here in Racine. Let's check it out and see what they have. And here we are at New Wave Movies and Games in Racine, Wisconsin. The store actually ended up being really cool, a lot cooler than I was expecting, honestly. They had a really good selection of video game stuff. And I started off in the Xbox One section with this copy of Divinity Original Sin 2. I freaking love this game. I have it on PC. Would love to have a physical copy, but I don't think I need it today. Feeling pretty much the same way about this copy of Resident Evil 5, and I think I'd rather have these Resident Evil games on the PS4 anyway. I did see something interesting down here on the bottom shelf. They had Metal Gear Survive for $7, which is pretty cool. I've been wanting to pick this one up for a while, so we might actually grab this one today for the Xbox One. And then this copy of Gears of War 4 as well is pretty enticing to me. Just an Xbox One exclusive that I might want to grab, but we'll see what else we can find here. They had a few more Xbox games over in this glass case, including a copy of Starfield for $25. This is one that I would definitely like to own physically. I feel like $25 is still a little high. We can maybe do a little better than that, but still pretty cool to see a physical copy of this one in a store. And sticking with the Xbox theme today, I wanted to check out the Xbox 360 and original Xbox selection here. And yeah, the pretty decent selection of stuff. A lot of games that I already have, unfortunately. I saw this game Stormrise for $20, which I've never seen this one before. I have no idea what it is. Looks like it might be kind of interesting. Some more Xbox 360 and original Xbox games over here. Again, just a lot of stuff that I already have. Not a ton that I was really that interested in. But yeah, if you're trying to build a library of backwards compatible games to play on the Xbox Series X, this would be a good store to do it because they had a lot of games that are backwards compatible and a lot of them were super cheap. So yeah, I still just think that's really cool that you can do that with the Series X. All right, we're back, baby. And yeah, that store was actually pretty sick. They have a lot of stuff in there. I kind of got lost looking around. Like it was kind of big and there was just so much stuff. It was kind of just like a maze of video games and action figures and old pop culture stuff. But I did pick up Metal Gear Survive and Gears of War 4. Metal Gear Survive, I've just always wanted to check this out. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it, but I love MGS5. I would love to play another game that's in that engine because I think that engine and just like the way it controls and the way it looks and the frame rate, All that stuff is freaking incredible. I don't think it's really much of a story game. Like, I don't think it really adds much to the Metal Gear story, but that's okay. I just think it seems like kind of an interesting thing, and like I said, I really like this engine, so... and I thought $7 was a totally fair price for this. So yeah, not a bad little pickup. And then yeah, Gears of War 4 as well. But, you know, it's an Xbox One exclusive, and I just want to have those exclusives in my physical game library now that I have a Series X. Yeah, a cool little store for sure. Definitely check out New Wave Movies and Games if you're in Racine, Wisconsin. Okay, so I think it's finally time to head home and show you guys the state of this Xbox Series X that I purchased. I'm not feeling great about it, honestly. I can like smell it. Like my whole car kind of smells like this Xbox, which doesn't bode well, I think. We're definitely gonna have to clean it up. I think we're gonna open it up as well and see how it's looking on the inside, because I just don't have a great feeling about it, and I feel like I'm probably gonna want to clean out the inside of this thing, and make sure that there's no like roaches in it, honestly. So yeah, but that's enough yapping. Let's take it back to the studio. Okay, folks, we're back in the Collector John studio, and yeah, this is pretty much what we're working with here. Yeah, so it doesn't really smell as bad as I thought it did. Like yesterday, I thought the odor coming off of this thing was pretty bad, but it doesn't seem as bad as I thought it would. Like, I can't really smell it from where I'm standing right now. So that aspect of this might not be as bad as I thought, hopefully. However, I'm still gonna wear some gloves for this portion of the video. So yeah, I'm gonna throw these gloves on really quick. Okay, and we're actually going to start with the controller situation here. So if you remember, I said in the beginning of the video, there's something about this listing that made it a little more interesting, I guess. So this is what I was talking about. It came with a Elite Pro controller, Series 2, I think that's what it's called. So that's pretty cool, because these are like a little more expensive and a little nicer than just a regular Xbox controller. And unfortunately, this one, looking at it now, is definitely not in amazing condition. Like, it actually looks relatively clean, but some of these panels are kind of coming off a little bit. Like this one over here, I think that's pretty bad. If I shake it around, it feels like there's some clips that broke off and are now inside of the controller. So I'm guessing that's what happened with these panels. Maybe it was disassembled at some point, which kind of makes me think that there's a stick drift issue or something like that with this controller that the owner tried to fix. I don't really feel like opening this up now, just because it already has some parts that are broken, and like, I guess I would like to get those rattly bits out of there at some point, but I feel like if I open this up again, I'm probably just gonna break this stuff even more. So I don't know if I really wanna mess with it that bad on camera, but we're at least gonna clean this up a little bit, so let's take care of that quick. So we're gonna start with just some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush and just kinda get into some of these crevices a little bit. These like textured grips seem like a great way to hold in a bunch of dirt and grime. These ones actually don't seem that bad, but I'm still gonna scrub them pretty thoroughly just because, you know, there's probably some nasty stuff in there that I might not even be able to see. And for the record, I'm definitely not like a germaphobe or anything, but you know, this stuff I think is fairly dirty, and I just want to clean it up a bit. Like, I like to keep my stuff reasonably clean. I'm not like a total freak about it, but you know, I just like to take care of my stuff, so that's what we're doing here. Okay, so we kind of went over it pretty thoroughly with the toothbrush. You can see it's kind of still drying there. Again, I used isopropyl alcohol, so this should dry pretty quickly. And these sticks feel interesting. I think these are supposed to be Hall effect, maybe? I have another piece of hardware that uses Hall effect joysticks, which I think they're magnetic or something like that. Like, it's a magnetic mechanism instead of the potentiometers that a regular sticks use. Honestly, these feel a little loose too. I don't know if they're supposed to feel as loose as they do. And then I just have a disinfecting wipe here, so I'm just gonna go over it with that really quick as well. Yeah, I just noticed there's another panel kind of down here at the bottom that looks a little weird, like it's kind of bent out of place a little bit. Yeah, but you know, I wiped it down. The cloth looks fairly clean, so I feel like we, you know, cleaned this thing up pretty much as well as we're going to be able to for now from the outside. You know, I think I will open this up at some point, maybe just to at least get the... I'm not hearing the shaky sound anymore, so maybe those plastic clips found a nice place to live where they're not moving around anymore. But anyway, I don't like it when I have electronics that like rattle when you... Oh, there we go, there it is. Yeah, now you can hear it rattling. Yeah, I definitely don't love that, but you know, if you're using the controller, it's not super noticeable. But anyway, this thing is fairly clean, I think. It still needs to dry off a bit. But yeah, this is a somewhat decent looking controller. Definitely not perfect, but it'll get the job done. I'm sure it's still usable. We tested it out when we were there and it worked fine, so yeah. And then there's also this case, which is pretty dirty on the inside. I have this little like USB-C powered hand vacuum that I bought off Amazon a while ago. I use it mostly for dusting my Lego sets. It works really well for that. So let's just dust this out really quick. Okay, and that's looking a lot better. Again, not perfect, but much better than it was before. And yeah, again, also, I'm not sure if I'm gonna even use this thing. It's kind of nice for this like charging functionality that it has, where you can just like put the controller in there to charge it. I think that's cool, but it's like, I don't know, I don't need to use that. So, but yeah, overall, this thing is looking a lot better than it was before. So I think we're good on this for now, and the controller as well, I think is reasonably clean. So yeah, fairly satisfied with this. Okay, so now let's take a look at this Xbox, which is you know, this I think will be a bigger project than the controller and the case. This thing's a little grimy, so you know, we have some stickers on the front. We're gonna have to Goo Gone those off, or maybe we won't need to use Goo Gone. I don't know, but I'm guessing we probably will. There is some like actual damage on this side that I didn't really see when we were looking at it, because you know, I kind of just saw the front and I was like, yeah, that's fine, you know. But this side has like actual like physical damage to the shell, like these little divots here and here as well. Some sticky stuff on it too. Not really sure how any of that happened. Hopefully it wasn't like dropped or had something dropped on it, but I'm not sure how else damage like that would occur, you know? The back actually looks fairly okay. The ports seem fine. I don't know what this is here, if that's a port or if that's something else. There's definitely some dust in there that we're gonna have to get out. And overall, you know, there's just a lot of dust with this console in general. So we are gonna open this up and see if we can clean it out from the inside as well. And this side looks okay. Again, just some, I'm not sure if this is damage or residue down here and some sticky crap, but oh, we're missing a foot. So that kind of sucks. I might improvise something to put there to make it balanced, because I think I am actually gonna have it like horizontal. So it's gonna be like down this way. So it'll be like kind of rattling all around without this foot. The top of the console looks fine, and the bottom is super grimy, so we're gonna have to clean that up for sure. And I think I'm gonna start by just wiping this thing down as much as I can and just kind of getting, you know, some of the surface grime off and making it feel a little cleaner while I handle it. So you can kind of see this sticker's already coming off and it's like already leaving a ton of residue, so we will definitely have to be utilizing the Goo Gone for this project. And yeah, you can see my cloth is already getting a little brown, so this thing's dirty. This is it's a pretty dirty console, you know? Like there are worse, I've seen worse consoles, but this one is, you know, pretty bad. Not great, especially for like a newer console, you know? And I'm not like trying to throw shade at the people I bought this from. I'm probably coming across as, you know, a little judgmental. And you know, I get it, like people have different standards of cleanliness, and it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world to have a dirty console, but for me, like I said earlier, I just try to keep my stuff reasonably clean, and you know, I enjoy my hardware. I like to try to keep it in good working order. So, and I think I forgot to say this earlier, but I just really like the design of the Xbox Series X, and I don't think I've ever like really handled one or used one in person before. But you know, I just like that it's a big black obelisk. I think it's cool. It's definitely very different from the PS5, which I think, I kind of like how the PS5 looks. Like, I think it's like objectively very ugly, and like very over designed, but I also kind of like that they just went for this like weird, ugly design with it. And then, you know, I think the Series X is kind of like counter to that, where it's just like extremely, extremely simple. And I did start working on these stickers off camera a little bit. So this top one was more of a decal that came off pretty easily. It did leave a little bit of residue, so we'll be using the Goo Gone for that. This bottom sticker sucks. It's not really coming off at all. So we're just gonna put some Goo Gone on it and hopefully it'll just disintegrate. I don't know. This top one, I just put some Goo Gone on a rag and we'll just wipe it. We'll see how that works. Okay, that worked pretty well. This bottom one, we're gonna try this first and see how that works. I don't really wanna just pour a bunch of Goo Gone directly on the sticker, because it'll probably just make a huge mess. So we'll just try wiping this a bit. Okay, we're making some headway with this thing. This Turtle Beach sticker is frickin' terrible. Don't put a Turtle Beach sticker on the front of your console. Just, they're really hard to get off, so don't do that. Okay, we're getting serious now. I'm gonna use the hair dryer, try to loosen up some of this adhesive, because it's really not coming off at all. Okay, we finally got that off. I was trying to find like a thin plastic edge to use to like scrape the sticker off because I thought I had like a spudger somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So I kind of just used this plastic spoon. It was like the best thing I could find. It actually worked decently well. I don't think I damaged anything using this, so it should be fine. And now we need to try to get the rest of this residue off. Okay, and that seems a lot better. We're going to use another wipe just to get this goo gone off of it. I don't really... Goo gone is like a pretty strong chemical. It's technically supposed to be safe for plastics, but I don't want to leave like residual goo gone on a surface, so while it dries, we're gonna wipe all that off. Okay, that honestly looks pretty good. I have no issues with that. The other thing I need to do is this bottom part, which I don't want to do it while it's standing upright because I don't want stuff to like drip through these vents into the console. Honestly, I think this base thing is supposed to come off, so I might honestly just like put that in a bowl with some warm soapy water and just leave it for a while. That'll make that like 100 times easier to clean. So we're gonna do that off camera. Yeah, honestly, this top side of the console is by far the worst looking part of it. I cleaned this up. There's no like residue left on here. It's just like, these are just marks. Like these are just there. There's nothing I can really do to get rid of those unless I just bought an entire new housing for this thing, which it's not out of the question. I don't really want to. I think those are like 50 or 60 bucks secondhand on eBay. There are like custom ones you can get too. I don't know. I might look into it, but it's kind of a lot of money. I don't know if it's totally worth it. This is going to be like inset into a shelf under my TV, so I'm never going to see the top of this thing. Like it doesn't really bother me that much. I also cleaned up these ports a little bit off camera with a toothbrush and isopropyl alcohol. This thing had a bunch of crap in it. I cleaned that out. And if you look through these vents, you can see there's like definitely a lot of dust going on inside this console. So yeah, I think the next step is we're gonna open this thing up and try to clean out the inside a little bit. And the teardown for this thing is somewhat approachable. There's just 2 screws on the back. So they're both under stickers though. So this sticker was like relatively easy to get off. I had to like pry it off. It's kind of like a little plastic cover thing. And then this one, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this one. It seems like extremely difficult to get that off. All right, I guess we're busting out the hairdryer again. Okay, that actually wasn't that bad after we got it going and loosened the adhesive a little bit. Yeah, and there's our screw, so let's pull that out quick. These are all T8 screws, by the way. I think that's what they are, so fairly standard. This sticker, I think, I'm not gonna put this back on. I'm just gonna, I think if I like tried to stick it back on, it just looked like garbage, so I'll just take the whole thing off. Okay, and then we need to pry this back panel off, which I'm gonna use my, you know, the tools of the trade, a plastic spoon. This thing's gonna frickin' break. Actually, I have a guitar pick right here. I think that might work pretty well because it's a little thicker. This guitar pick is actually working really well for this. I think we can just get the rest of it, hopefully. There we go. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. That's honestly like a really easy way to access the console. Oh dear, pretty dusty in there. Yeah, so as you can see, this looks like the heatsink, and that is a pretty gnarly looking heatsink. There's a lot of dust in there, so we're gonna have to deal with that somehow. All right, well I got this bottom panel off. That was actually really easy to remove. I'm gonna set that to the side so I can soak it and clean it up later. And then this looks like the main cooling fan right here, so we're gonna pull that out, and that'll probably need to be cleaned as well. There's like a little Master Chief emblem right there, which is cool. It's a cute little touch, you know? Then you pretty much just disconnect this cable here and pull this out, which pulls out really easily. This is not meant to be a tutorial, by the way. It's just me messing around. Yeah, and that's like a pretty dirty fan, so I'm gonna pull out my little vacuum again. Okay, I disconnected all these ribbon cables. I think we can now slide out this entire chassis here. Oh, there's a sound for you. Yeah, so that's obviously really bad. I'm gonna take this outside and blow it out. Okay, we cleaned this thing up outside. It looks a lot better now. It's like 10 degrees out, so that was fun. And we did the same with this this main exterior housing, which there's a lot of crap in there before. It looks quite a bit better now, so that's good. And it's time to reassemble this thing, which I'm just gonna do it off camera because I am tired of filming this. So let's reassemble this Xbox. Okay folks, so it's a couple weeks later after we cleaned this thing up, got it looking a little nicer. And yeah, I've been using it quite a bit actually. I actually really like the Xbox Series X. I think it's a pretty sweet console. There's a lot of things about it that I've been enjoying. And yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We're mostly gonna be looking at the backwards compatibility here. I have a little stack of games that I want to try out and just talk to you guys about how this thing works, what the backwards compatibility is like, because to me that's kind of the most interesting thing about this console. I think the functionality around backwards compatibility with this thing is pretty awesome. There are some things about it that I don't like, which we'll talk about. But yeah, overall it's pretty freaking sweet. So let's dive in and test this thing out a little bit, see what we're working with here. And yeah, first of all, as you can see, I'm not using the Pro controller that this thing came with. I'm using this 20th anniversary Series X controller that I bought a little while ago. Yeah, and this Pro controller, I honestly don't really like it. I don't like the way that the texture of the controller feels. It has like this kind of textured rubberiness, plasticiness to it, and I just don't really like how it feels in my hands, honestly. And then the joysticks as well. I think these Hall effect joysticks just feel a little loose to me. I just don't really like the feel on those. So I haven't really been using this at all. I think I'm probably going to end up selling it. It's a nice controller. I think it's just not for me. I don't know. I don't really like it that much. But anyway, yeah, I have a couple games here that I wanted to try out. A couple things that I've been playing the last couple weeks. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, I've been playing quite a bit of that. Let's throw this disc in. So yeah, with the Xbox Series X, as we already know, there's a pretty substantial list of backwards compatible Xbox 360 and original Xbox games. And we're going to throw in Splinter Cell. I really like the disk drive on this thing. I think it just sounds good. When you put a disk in, it has a nice, satisfying thunk to it, and it just sounds like it's a nice, high-quality disk drive. And yeah, if you've been playing a game and you put a disk back into the Xbox, it'll kind of just automatically go back to where you were in the game, which is interesting that it like will hold that information for you even if you take the disk out. I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, so we're on level 3 of Splinter Cell here. And yeah, so I think all of these original Xbox games, they're running off emulation. So when you put a disc in, it'll actually just download a version of the game. This just being emulated off the console. Whoa, boy. And because of that, you're just getting some enhancements by default. So you're getting a higher resolution. So I can play this like on the big 4K TV in my living room. And it looks pretty good. I mean, it's running in 4:3, you know, so it's not widescreen, but it is a, oh my god, this is not a good section to be playing while trying to talk about it. I'm going to load a different save. Also much improved load times as well. It loads super, super fast. So we're back in the first level now. But yeah, your original Xbox games are running in a higher resolution, so they look good on modern displays. I mean, they still look like old games, but it's not running in 640 by 480 and then getting blown up onto the bigger screen. Like it is a higher resolution, so they look pretty freaking good. And I think the frame rate is better as well. It's kind of hard to tell. I think you might just be getting like a stable 30 all the time, which for these older Xbox games, like that looks pretty good. Like I think a lot of these games ran below 30 a lot of the time, so you know, it might not be 60, but at least it's like a super, super stable 30 all the time. And yeah, I think that's kind of the benefit of them running these games via emulation instead of just running them directly off the disc. I think it just makes them easier to do those enhancements on these games, which is great. But for me, it's also maybe a little bit weird because since we know it's not technically running the game off a disc, the disc is just like giving you a license to play it, and then it's downloading an emulated version of it. So because of that, like we know that this is a feature that could be removed at any time, you know, like it's not a feature that's built into the console. It is pulling information off of a server to play these games, and you know they could stop doing that whenever they want. Like you know, so yeah, Splinter Cell, great freaking video game. I'm gonna put in. So I have this game, Otogi Myth of Demons. This was a From Software game published by Sega on the original Xbox in 2003. Yeah, it looks like it was 2003. Kind of a more, you know, valuable original Xbox game, a little more obscure. And I think it's cool that they made this backwards compatible. Like, there's some interesting titles on that backwards compatibility list. It's not just a bunch of, you know, like standard AAA games that sold a bunch of copies. There's some kind of weird stuff on there too. So we're going to throw this in, and I'm going to show you what the download process looks like because I have not put this one in to my Xbox yet to download the emulated version. Usually there's a prompt that comes up that will ask you to download an update, and that update is just the game. There it goes, okay. So yeah, to play this game, you need to download a free update. It'll take up 3.7 gigabytes of space. So we'll go ahead and install that, and it's just going to be downloading over my Wi-Fi. I'm not sure what happens if I take the disc out at this point, if it'll keep downloading or not. I'm going to try and just see what happens. Yeah, it looks like it's still going, so I think we could put in a different game while that installs. All right, I'm just going to put in Lost Planet Extreme Condition. I have this cool collector's edition steelbook for this game because I like this game. I think this game is cool. I've never finished it. I remember, I think I rented it back when it came out a long, long time ago, and I liked it, but I never finished it. And I've gone back to play some of it, over the last couple of weeks. And it's a cool game. It's weird. It kind of reminds me of Dino Crisis 3 a little bit because, Dino Crisis is a game that is focused on, it's more of an action game than the prior Dino Crisis games, and it has faster movement. And it's just a game that's focused on exploration and shooting a bunch of little dinosaur creatures. And that's kind of what this game reminds me of. So, so I have a bunch of Xbox 360 saves that I uploaded to the cloud, and you can pull those off of the cloud and use them on the Series X, which is awesome. Obviously, you can't do anything like that with the original Xbox. If you have original Xbox saves that you want to use for original Xbox games on the Series X, I don't think there's any way to do that. Maybe there's some freaks out there who figured out a way to do that, but that's kind of beyond my my capabilities, I think. The Series X is pretty quiet. The disk drive right now, it's making a little bit of noise. It's not going to be picked up on my microphone at all. There's like a little bit of noise coming from the disk drive, or maybe it's the fan. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's overall like a very quiet console. It's a little louder than the base model PS5. Like the base model PS5 is like almost silent, except like when the disk drive is spinning up. Like when you put a disc into the PS5 and it spins up, that is a loud disk drive. And I was talking about the disk drive for this thing earlier. Like this feels like a nice disk drive. Like it doesn't feel like an afterthought. The disk drive on the PlayStation 5 feels like an afterthought. Like it just sounds like a really cheap, chintzy disk drive. I don't really like it at all. And then the disk drive on the PS5 Pro obviously was literally an afterthought because you need to buy it separately and then attach it to your PS5 Pro. And I have a PS5 Pro because I'm a freaking moron. Actually, no, I'm not. I really like the PS5 Pro, but the disk drive situation with the PS5 and the PS5 Pro kind of sucks. And with this thing, it feels like it's actually nice, and it's actually, something that they spent some money on and wasn't just an afterthought. So yeah, I like the disk drive on this thing. And yeah, I'm doing capture through a really cheap HDMI converter, so I feel like it's affecting the frame rate a little bit. Because this game runs at 60 frames per second. Like it ran at 60 on the Xbox 360, I'm pretty sure. And this footage that I'm getting through my capture definitely doesn't feel like 60. So I guess what you're seeing on the screen isn't representative at all of what of what this is actually supposed to look like. So this really isn't useful footage. There are games though that have like frame rate enhancements and resolution enhancements on the Xbox 360. Not all of them, but it's like a pretty solid list of games that are enhanced on the 360, and I'm gonna freaking die. Like I can't play this game and talk at the same time. Okay, well that was a short-lived Lost Planet experience. We're gonna fire up Otogi now. Yeah, so that just fires right up. I like that it gives you the little original Xbox intro when you put an original Xbox game in. I'm into that. I think it's pretty cool. All right. Okay, so Otogi. Pretty weird game. I mean, now you can see, the process of putting a disc in and downloading it, and then you start up the game. I don't really know how to describe this game. It's not, it's not Soulsy at all. Like it doesn't feel like a precursor to Dark Souls or anything like that. I guess it's just an action game, maybe a character action game, but it does feel slower than like what I would associate most character action games to be. Like it feels a lot slower than Devil May Cry. It feels slower than God of War, and yeah, this is like very nicely upscaled. This looks good. This resolution wise, yeah, this looks really good. This is like a pretty nice looking game, I think. It has a very nice atmosphere to it. Cool looking environments, cool creatures, and camera's inverted, son of a gun. Yeah, I think the combat in this game feels pretty solid. I've never finished this game. I got decently far into it, and then I got to a level that was just like so annoying that I just couldn't do it anymore. But it is a really cool game. Nice double jump there. Cool animation on the jumping too. And again, it's just crazy that you can put the disc for Otogi Myth of Demons for the original Xbox into a modern console that Microsoft is currently selling, and it'll just run and like look better than the original version of the game. I think that rules. I think that's just so cool that you can do this. And again, I have some reservations about the always online aspect of it, of this backwards compatibility, but it's freaking cool. Like there's no way around it. This is very, very cool that you can do this. All right, well, let's try another Xbox 360 game, and then we'll probably wrap it up here. So Dragon Age Origins, this is one that I have been wanting to replay, and I know that this has a frame rate boost, I think, which is cool and makes it feel like playing this on the Xbox Series X is probably a good way to play it. So yeah, I like just installed this before I started recording here, so I have not played this game since I played it in high school, so it's been a long time since I've played Dragon Age Origins. Yeah, I remember liking this game a lot. You know, this is kind of like the golden age of BioWare, was like the Xbox 360 era. Like they had Mass Effect Trilogy, Dragon Age Origins, and like, you know, they had good stuff on the original Xbox too, like Knights of the Old Republic and Jade Empire. Those are freaking great. I know a lot of people liked Dragon Age Inquisition, which I still haven't played that. I have a copy of it on the PlayStation 4, and I'd like to play it someday, but, you know. Contacting the Dragon Age servers. I wonder if those servers are still up. Nope, they sure aren't. Those servers are not available. Yeah, I don't have any DLC. Your servers are down, so I don't got nothing, dude. I mean, this would be annoying if it does this every time you start the game. Okay, whatever. All right, I cannot skip this, nor am I getting any audio. I know there's going to be audio on the capture, but I'm not getting it for some reason. So I'm just sitting here watching a silent cutscene, pretending like I can hear what's happening, and that's really fun. It's great that I can't skip. Oh, I can't skip it. I just hit X and it skipped. Okay. Okay, so yeah, kind of looking closely at the image quality there. It's definitely not upscaled resolution-wise, but like I said, this is supposed to have an FPS boost that we may or may not even be able to recognize because of my capture process. So this is really really useful footage for sure. Yeah, this feels pretty good. This feels like a better frame rate than the original, I think. Probably look better if I wasn't capturing it through a $15 piece of crap HDMI adapter. Okay, and we got a town. This looks good. Like it's a nice looking town. Yeah, I like the art direction. This is cool. Looks nice. We got some decent looking reflections in this puddle here. Yeah. It's a nice looking game. There's something about just playing old games. Imagine that. Collector John is really into playing old games, but I don't know. There's something about like the way older games look, and I just like it. Like there's less detail, but you know, you're getting by without as much horsepower, and you're using art direction to compensate for that a little bit sometimes. And I don't know. I like how these older games look. It's just something about it that's nice. You know, new games look great too. New games look freaking incredible, but again, there's just something to be said for just doing what you can under a limited amount of horsepower, I guess, that I just appreciate. I appreciate, you know, the constraints that they had to deal with and what they were able to do under those constraints. And oftentimes, I still think the games look really cool, even though there's less pixels in the image. And it's nostalgic, you know. There's that aspect of it too. Just going back to these games, just remembering what it was like to be playing them and seeing them in their original form. That's just always a really fun time, for sure. And yeah, I really like, you know, collecting disc-based games and playing them on original hardware. I get a lot of joy out of that. But then there's also something to be said for having a machine like this and having it hooked up to like my main TV in the living room all the time, and I can put in a bunch of different original Xbox or Xbox 360 games to it and just play them on my monitor display. That's cool. I really like being able to do that, even though I also really like having my old consoles hooked up to a CRT and playing games that way, or having an Xbox 360 hooked up to an older, smaller flat screen where the games look a little bit more how they should than playing them on a big 4K TV. But yeah, I just like having a bunch of different options in how I play my stuff, and this console, you know, it adds to those options, and it's a really, really good one. So yeah, I think this is a, my cats are freaking out behind me. I don't know if you can hear that, but they're losing it. But yeah, anyway, I just think this is a great machine. I'm really glad that I bought it. If I could go back, I probably wouldn't have bought that specific one because, like you saw, it was just kind of messed up. You know, that thing was a little dirty, and we got her nice and cleaned up, and she's looking good. I'm glad that we found a new home for this console, and you know, I'm going to take good care of it. I'm going to make sure that the heatsink doesn't get completely full of nasty dust again. But yeah, and then there's also Game Pass. I had a month of Game Pass when I got this thing, so I guess I've had this for a little over a month now. And my Game Pass has lapsed already. But I did play through Indiana Jones on Game Pass, which I really, really liked. That was a great game. And then I also started this other game called Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. And I actually stopped playing it on Game Pass and bought it on Steam. Because I liked it so much and I wanted to support the developers because I don't think that game sold very well. Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is awesome. I'm not going to go into a whole thing about it, but you should check it out. If you have a Game Pass sub, you should check out Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. It freaking rules. That game's so good. And anyway, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Yeah, so thanks for tagging along here with my little Xbox Series X journey. Again, I've really been enjoying this thing. I think it's a great console. I'm glad I bought it. And yeah, it was fun cleaning it up and going through all that, even though it wasn't an ideal situation. It was still fun to go through that process, and I'm going to keep playing Xbox 360 and original Xbox games on it. That's probably what I'm mostly going to be using this thing for, and it's been great for that. So yeah, really excited to have it for sure. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'm Collector John. We'll see you guys in the next one.